All right, so talking a little bit more about the emergency communication, common usage, clandestine radio service. Maybe we're going to come up with some cool-ass acronym for that stuff, okay? So I got this whole pile of electronic crap on my table here, my little workbench, and trying to get this stuff to kind of work together. I'm laying it out on a board for testing, probably going to go in something else, on something else, but initially I'm testing this out in a vehicle situation where it's also there's a car stereo. Okay, so that's what this amp is. The situation with all this junk, getting it to work, it just always ends up being a bag of shit or a box of shit. Getting something like this to work in a single clean device, I don't think it exists. If it does, it's very expensive. What we're looking at is also separate components. It's modular. If something burns out, screws up, needs a better performance component, I can buy that separately and then upgrade the system. The stuff that I learned from crawling around in that old FBI surveillance van was what it looked like they had going on was they had the infrastructure and the wiring for their electronics and communication equipment, and then there was the equipment itself. When the infrastructure in that van no longer supported the newer equipment, they were surplusing out the van, but they kept most of the equipment. The vast majority of that equipment went in whatever their newer van was. And the stuff that wasn't going to be used, from what I could tell, was the video monitors. They were using CRT video monitors. This thing had been in service probably up until 2013, 2014, before it was pulled out of service. And my guess is that the reason they pulled that surveillance van out of service was they needed something that would work with the newer monitors. And the radio equipment, relatively consistent. Okay, that wasn't being surplused out. So some of the increases are advancements in the technology. Antennas, about the same. Wiring, about the same. Plugs, SWR meters, all that kind of shit's about the same. Batteries are improving. Okay, batteries, you're going to be modern. You're going to use these lithium batteries. They have a much more consistent voltage, and a lot of them have internal voltage regulation and charge controllers. Okay, so that's one of the things. It's going to take a lot of your rigs that previously were not going to be very portable, and you can make them portable, and you can switch them a little bit easier from vehicle to vehicle, have self-power while the vehicle's not running, things like that. Longer service life while the vehicle's not running. So the idea of idling the vehicle for a while because you're running your equipment is not as critical when you're using the lithium-ion batteries. More capacity for weight and storage space. When you're looking at the FM transmitter unit, this is specific to clandestine radio and micro radio stations, relatively short range. This is what allows you to talk to regular, common, ordinary FM car stereos. Okay, we're not going to get into the legality of it. Obviously, there are legal risks involved if you abuse your ability to perform this task. I'll leave it at that. Okay, this is emergency use only, clandestine use type stuff. It's an adults only activity, and that's what it is. Okay. Now the thing about using a device like this is the audio feed on the really basic level is you can put out a playlist from your iPod, or let's say you have an older iPhone, you repurpose that, you put out your playlist. What happens if you want to have reconnaissance reports and you want to make those public right away? And not everybody's on the internet. Not everybody's watching your Facebook page. So many people, so many groups right now are using internet apps for this type of stuff, which has absolutely no fallback if the internet gets turned off. Okay? And there are people and places who will have an incentive to flip that switch. Understand that's reality. So if they flip that switch, how about the ability to talk to every single car stereo out there? Okay, all you need to do to let people know what channel to listen to, graffiti. Okay, graffiti, signs. Put a sign up in a window somewhere. Put graffiti up, stickers, signs. Stop people and tell them, hey, go on 88.5. Go on 103, whatever. Graffiti can let people know. Put a sign up at the gas station before you're entering the other zone. Leaflets. Okay, you can put leaflets on. We're going to be on this channel at that time. If you don't find us on that one, find us on another one. Okay, you can hang a sign over an overpass. Everybody turn to this channel. One of the things you can do to confirm that people are on your channel, they drive by another sign on the overpass. If you can hear my voice, turn your car headlights on. If you can hear my voice, honk your horn. Okay, there's a lot of ways these people can signal each other. Turn your car headlights on, honk your horn, that sort of a thing. Realize also that you're able to tell people over the air, here's another frequency. If you have a two-way radio, get me on the MRON 3. Okay, get me on the MRON contact thing. Get in touch with us. If you get in touch with us, we're going to have somebody else answer the radio net. There's going to be one level of communication over the radio net, and then somebody says, hey, we need to make this go very public. Here's what's going on. We're going to pump that over to the FM broadcast right away. We can pump it over to the FM broadcast on the Convoy channel without compromising group communication with a recon element. You could go over to private cell phones. Okay, a guy on a motorcycle with a Bluetooth headset, nobody's really going to know which guy and which motorcycle is talking to us talking on the air. Okay, nobody's going to know which guy. They're not going to know which guy to shut down, which guy to take out with that sniper rifle who's saying, hey, there's a roadblock, they're doing this, they're doing that, here's what I see. Now, there's also the ability with the newer equipment for them to transmit video, and somebody who does have the Facebook feed while they're not driving their vehicle, you know, they're going to be able to verify the veracity of this. Everybody's going to watch this. And so if you've got somebody who's putting out false information on these things, we're going to sort that out right away. We're going to figure out what their voice sounds like. We're going to kind of figure out where they operate. There are ways you can figure out the nuances of the transmitter, little sub-audible garble that comes through with the signal. We can usually identify the transmitter after a while. Okay, you can identify who's saying what to where. So it's not quite as anonymous as some people think it is. By controlling the audio feed into this, so understand that we can talk into this and broadcast the regular FM radios off of the ham radio net. These wideband, multi-band radios can receive and talk on your GMRS, FRS frequencies, okay? They can do that. They can transmit and receive on MURS frequencies. We can unplug this, plug a CB radio, and our incoming discussion on CB radio will go straight out to FM car stereos, and all these people listening to that will not need to have specialized radio equipment. All they need to see is that graffiti on the side of the road, that sign you hung off the overpass. That's it. And all you got to do is say, flash your headlights to signal us that you're on the air with us. They don't need to have compromising specialized equipment to hear your voice that might get them in trouble on the roadblock. Okay? That's what this type of equipment is going to give you the capability of being able to operate with. Another situation, you're doing a mobile transmitting situation in a convoy, on a bug-out convoy. I'll tell you something, I see a lot of talk in a lot of forums where the ass clowns have mostly been kicked out of the exclusive forums. The type of people who are going to politicize and regionalize a lot of the shit hit the fan talk, okay? Hey, when those people come out of the city, they're going to be looking for food, they're the zombies, they're this, they're that. Well, what about the people that already owned and invested in survival retreats that are coming out to get with their buddies, their supplies, that type of stuff, okay? There are people who are selling survival retreat properties, inviting people to come and develop their properties, and ripping them off, okay? You get out there, you work on their property, you improve it, you bring a bunch of supplies in, and hey, fuck you, leave the supplies and leave. You're, we don't like you now. Get out of here. Okay? They didn't have that problem inviting people. They had that problem right about the time that investment slows down. Right about the time shit hits the fan. And guess what? Some of these people that were investing in this, who thought this was a place to go to, who paid their dues there, it's not just, they're the zombie masses who are coming out for a free handout. No, they're coming out for what they own, and it's going to be denied to them because the locals cooked up their little scheme to stop that off, okay? You don't know what Nazis some of these local sheriff's departments are. Some of them are pretty fucking bad, all right? And they have that plan. They're going to roadblock that freeway. They're going to roadblock that highway. If you weren't in their little secret club, you're not getting, they're going to fuck you up at their roadblock. If they are afraid word's going to get out, they see a bunch of antennas spurting off of a vehicle that looks like a dude is really connected, okay, they're going to have a few misgivings about that. Then they're going to get wise, okay? Then they're going to play the game. Then they're going to call up their posse. And we don't know. Nobody knows what side some of those posses are on, okay? Yeah, they're veterans. Yeah, they're going to split some 3%er stuff. We've seen at Malheur how these guys actually operate when it all gets someplace, okay? They're all taking 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different sides in this matter. A lot of them will simply worship. They'll hero worship whatever authority figure shows up with the most authority, and they're out kissing her ass, and they'll do anything they want. And if they say, hey, we'll help you rob this other group in return for a share of the loot, you're damn fucking right they will. If those convoys of survivors are leaving the city, they've got weapons, tools, equipment, food. They're hauling all that stuff out there. Are there going to be roadblock robberies? Do we want to get word on that? Do we want to find out, hey, yeah, they're doing roadblock shakedowns on people? You want to be able to transmit far and wide. People are going to thank you for it. They're going to value that as a resource. And that's a real Sons of Liberty type of resource to be able to do. So if you want to put this stuff together, join a little discussion group. Right now I'm just going to keep it in the comment section of the video. I'm going to invite Survival Tech Nord in for his well-informed commentary on a lot of this stuff. I have worked with organizations that have operated around the world, okay? My personal experience in Central America in the 1980s, I think, is highly relevant to this. I had also been in Europe during some of the Kosovo stuff. I've got good friends who were involved with clandestine radio stations and open radio station stuff, Voice of America during the Cold War. One of them's invited to be involved in this discussion, and we're going to go over more of this.